Very good morning, all of you. Once again, all of you, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I said in my previous class about remedial teaching. About the remedial teaching. What is remedial teaching? Can anyone say about remedial teaching? Remedial teaching. Can anyone? So now, see, I would like to repeat it. Remedial teaching is that we are going to complete the previous portion rapidly. Going to complete the previous portion completely, not completely, rapidly, rapid speed and main points we have to teach them. It is not a reteach. It is not a reteach. Suppose I said that in the previous class already, the children promoted to the ninth class teacher entered to the ninth class and she wants to start the lesson. Before she wants to start the lesson, she examined the children. What have learned in the previous class by the students. What have they learned in the previous class? So she conducted one test. In the test, she coming to know that many of them not updated their knowledge and not studied well in the previous class, and not the portion was completed by the previous teachers. Anyway, they were not up to date. So teacher know that teacher knows that she has to complete some of the portion in a rapid speed. Other than she cannot teach further lesson. That's what remedial teaching. So where the students are weak, she coming to know, and she was started and completed the previous class lesson in a rapid speed and main points she taught. Okay, that's what the remedial teaching. Okay. I would like to show you. PPT, all of you wait. Can you view here remedial teaching in grammar? Remedial teaching in grammar. Can you?
Yes, sir, we can see, sir.
Yes. In countries like India, where English is learned as a second language, it is difficult to make learning free from errors in spite of ideal planning and careful learning. Different kinds of teachers, different learning techniques, different teaching and learning materials, and learners, different textbooks, all make teaching difficult. Okay, teaching and the learning of grammar, a unique experience. However, there are many common errors which are normally committed by most of the learners. See, while speaking and writing, quite a few errors creep into expressions. These can be avoided by carefully observing and following the grammatical rules learned. Okay. I'm going to teach you now some of the definitions about the remedial teaching. Remedial teaching is a moral building activity. Remedial teaching is a moral building activity. See, it involves teaching, testing, and reteaching. See, moral building activity means nobody will ask her whether she or he completed the 8th class portion again. 8th class portion taught in a rapid speed. Nobody will come and ask her. That is what moral building. This is what a moral building activity. This is called a, that's why moral building activity. Some ethics she has, some ethics he has. That's why he taught main points of the previous class portion. It involves teaching, testing, and reteaching. See, remedial teaching cycle is there: teaching, again testing, and reteaching. Teaching, testing, and reteaching. Okay, remedial teaching. See, this remedial teaching is a moral building activity. It involves teaching, testing, and reteaching. This definition was given by F.L. Willows. F.L. Willows. F.L. Willows. Now see, remedial teaching aims to correct people's errors of the past. Remedial teaching aims to correct people's errors of the past, the present, and the future ones. See, remedial teaching aims to correct people's errors of the past, the present, and the future ones. Okay, this definition was given by Yoakum and Simpson. Yoakum and Simpson. See now, children while learning foreign language face some difficulties, especially while learning grammar. See the next slide. The teacher of English, the teacher of English should guide them by a remedial program. He should give them regular guidance. He should give them regular guidance. Some causes of errors. Some causes of errors are there. See, causes of errors occur in some of the places. Learning inadequacy, impact of bilingualism, impact of bilingualism, impact of typical errors in English uses, impact of typical errors in English uses, grammatical terminology, teacher's wrong approach. See, examples of some errors. Examples of some error means suppose giving example that is not quite related to the topic. That's what examples of some errors. Errors while giving opposite numbers, singular or plural. Errors while giving opposite numbers, singular, plural. Suppose we are using singular verb and plural singular subject and plural verb. This is wrong. Suppose using plural verb and singular verb. There is no coincidence between the verb and the subject. Okay. And sentence structure, at the time of sentence structure, incorrect use of articles, auxiliaries, tenses, prepositions, adjectives. Suppose you take articles. Whenever we use article, whenever we should not use article, sometimes we should not use articles at the time of say material nouns. We should not use a or an. What are the articles? A, an, and the. A, or an, and the. Okay. Whenever we use the, whenever we use and auxiliaries. What are the auxiliaries? What do you know about auxiliaries? Auxiliaries means be forms, do forms, have forms, and some other say and model auxiliaries are there. Whenever we should use auxiliaries, incorrect uses of auxiliaries, tenses, prepositions, adjectives, and etc. And direct and indirect speech, direct and indirect speech. While we are using direct speech and indirect speech, and voice, active voice and passive voice, active voice and passive voice. Expressing various concepts like obligations, expressing various concepts like obligations. Obligation. You have to come in time to the college. You have to give your notebook to your friend, some while. Obligation and necessity, request, condition, supposition, and in this way. Vocabulary and structures, you can find some errors using the vocabulary and structures at the time of spelling. See different stages in identifying errors for remedial teaching. Different stages are there identifying errors for remedial teaching. One has to identify the grammatical errors. One has to identify the grammatical errors. An initial analysis and description of the errors. An initial analysis and description of the errors should be made based on a grammatical model. Classification of errors under grammatical terminology. An explanation as to why the errors have been made. Examples of sources and causes of errors are mother tongue interference or generalization of rules, etc. Okay, next slide. Organizing remedial work. Organizing remedial work. We have to identify the general backwardness of the students. We have to identify the general backwardness of the students. First of all, we should identify the general backwardness. Identify the general backwardness. No, not for some, not for two or three children. General average backwardness. Average backwardness in the classroom. Suppose I am teaching articles. I am teaching articles. Do you know articles? No answer. I got no answer from the classroom. No reply. What are the articles? No reply. Do you know ABCD? Yes, sir. How many are there? 26. Yes, sir. Say the reply. We need reply from the students. Number of the people's average people's reply. Suppose asking, do you know prepositions? No answer. No reply means general backwardness. Most of the students do not know about the prepositions and articles and adverb. Do you know parts of speech? No answer. That means in the previous class they did not study well and they did not learn well and some other teachers maybe students mistake. Okay, anyway, we have to rectify that to conduct remedial work. Remedial work. We should identify the glaring mistakes committed by students in grammar. Suppose at that time they are using, some of them using plural verb. He are, we should not say he are going. No, it is wrong. He is going. He was going. Okay. They are playing. They is playing. They is playing. It is incorrect. They are playing. We are listening. We is listening. It is a mistake. Not we is listening. Okay. This at the time of using articles, an apple. It is an apple. While some of them say it is a apple, it is a mistake. So we have to identify and glaring mistakes, and suitable assignments may be prepared for the remedial work. Suitable assignments may be prepared to rectify their mistakes. Certain test items should also be prepared. Certain test items should also be prepared for the, suppose tense, mistakes in the tense, use of tense, spellings. Certain test items should also be prepared for certain mistakes. Teachers who take remedial teaching class should be creative, imaginative, energetic, and enthusiastic. Okay, this is what remedial teaching. Some of the examples are there. Errors while giving opposite numbers, singular, plural, sentence structure, I said already different stages in identifying errors in remedial teaching. One has to identify the grammatical errors. One has to identify the grammatical errors, initial analysis, and see, we have to identify the general backgrounds of the students. I said about the remedial teaching, and see, proper care should be taken while they are doing some exercise. And now, in third chapter, teaching vocabulary and study and reference skills. I am going to teach you now. Third chapter, teaching vocabulary and study and reference skills. Teaching vocabulary and study and reference skills. Yeah, I would like to show another PPT now. See, teaching vocabulary and study reference skills. Teaching vocabulary and study reference skills. What is vocabulary? What is vocabulary? What is a vocabulary? Stock of words of a language. Stock of words of a language. Stock of words of a language. That's what vocabulary. See, and study and reference skills I am going to teach you. Eh, Vocabulary is a stock of words of a language. Okay. It is a collection of words a person know and uses. It is a collection of words a person know and uses. It is the words of a language collectively. One of the richest vocabularies possessed by the English language. What do we mean by knowing a word? What do we mean by knowing a word? See, knowing a word could mean the following. It means recalling it whenever necessary. Suppose you got the meaning of the word means it would like to recall. It would like to recall from our memory and use whenever, whenever necessary. It means being familiar with it in both written and spoken forms. Both written and spoken forms, you should know some of the written forms and the spoken forms of the words. One minute, all of you. Wait. Okay, all of you. See here. It means to be able to pronounce, spell, and use it contextually. It means being familiar with it, both written and spoken words. I said already. It means to be able to pronounce, spell, and use it contextually. Knowing a word is therefore an active and a dynamic process. See, knowing a word is therefore an active and a dynamic process. See, some slides are not showing here. I would like to try now. Okay, then see, there are two types of vocabulary. There are two types of vocabulary. What are the two types? Active or working vocabulary. The number one is active or working vocabulary. See, the next passive or recognition vocabulary. Passive or recognition vocabulary. See, why active or working vocabulary said? See, active means frequently used words. The specifications of active mean active words frequently uses, they have frequently uses, the active words have frequently uses and frequently in speaking, frequently in speaking and writing, frequently in speaking and writing. Suppose write, speak, walk, sing, work. These words are frequently used in our education. In our education, frequently listen, speak, teach. Okay, we can use regularly and frequently use these words. And also other specification is for the active words. That is, active words should have derivatives. Active words should have derivatives. Derivative means number of forms. Suppose move, M-O-V-E, move, move, moving, moved, okay, play, playing, played, eat, ate, eaten. In this way, derivatives are there. Active words should have derivatives. Whenever we categorize the active words, the specification is that derivatives, it has a derivatives like play, playing, played, write, wrote, written. So in this way, derivatives are there. But in the passive words are, most of the passive words do not have the derivatives like that. Fixed. Thunder, uh, thunder, thunder. Thunder means urumu, thunder. It has no derivatives. And passive words, most of them grammatical words, prepositions like prepositions and conjunctions and some other articles and etc. Suppose but is there, but it is active or passive word. Can anyone say? But is there active or passive word? Can anyone reply? But is a passive word because it has no derivatives. It has no derivatives. Suppose it has no derivatives means it is a passive word. But we cannot. Excuse me. It cannot. We cannot add ing. But ing. Can we add ing suffix? Ing. No. Butting. There is no word. And prefix, there is no prefix. Necessary, so necessary is the active word. Unnecessary, prefix, necessarily, and suffix you can add. See, other specification is to recognize the active or passive. Active words active words have derivatives. Active words have prefix and suffix. Passive words do not have prefix and suffix. See, active words, some other. See, we can frequently use some of the words. Those are active and working vocabulary. It is called a working vocabulary. And passive recognition words means in the written language we can find. Written language we can find. Those words are at the time of usage only we can use. At the time of usage only we can written only written form we can use the passive words mostly. See, suppose In other specification is there. Suppose medical words are for us passive. Medical terminology is passive for us, but active for the doctors. Active for the doctors. Some of the methodology terminology is active for us, and methodology English methodology terminology is passive for the other departments. In this way, most of the uses, the frequently used words are called active, and that is also working vocabulary. And active words do have derivatives, and other specification is active words do have prefix and suffix. The passive words do not have prefix and suffix. These are passive words are fixed. Passive words are fixed. These are not fixed. Okay. Another classification I am going to teach you now. Vocabulary may also be categorized as vocabulary. Content words. Some N is not there. Just spelling mistake is there. Content words. CONTENT. CONTENT. Instead of CONTENT there, some mistake got. We got some mistake there. See, CONTENT. Content words. See, the content words also called as full words. Content words also called full words. Content words means, see, suppose I said already here, write, play, go, come, sit, walk, speak. In this way, these are the content words. We have to add some of the structural word to make a sentence. We have to use some of the structural word to make a sentence. What are the structural words? Articles, am, and the, pronouns I, we, subjects we can make me, my, our, your, yours, and in this word, indefinite pronouns anybody, nobody, everybody. In this way we can use. And see structural words like auxiliaries. Structural words are auxiliary. These are fixed. Structural words are fixed. Content words are flexible. Content words do have derivatives, and number of forms are there, but structural words are fixed. Suppose auxiliaries are there, model auxiliaries are there, may, might, must, shall, should. No derivatives for each word. That's why structural word. See, and some preposition adverbs in, into, on, by, from, behind, under. In this way, preposition adverbs, conjunctions like and, that, but, when, while, because, these are the structural words. Interrogatives, what, which, why, how. These are the interrogative words, and all of the grammatical patterns, grammatical words are called structural words. Structural words are fixed. We do not, structural words have no derivatives, while content words have derivatives. Okay. Structural words, content words are the flesh of the body, when the structural words are the skeleton of the body. You can say, you can compare with the content words are the blood and flesh. Content words are the blood and the flesh of the body. Structural words are the skeleton of the body. We can compare in this way. Any structure, any sentence we want to frame means we should have structural words and content words. We have to both mixing, we can make a sentence. That's what another category of vocabulary. The first category is I said there are two types of vocabulary: active or working vocabulary. The next is passive or recognition vocabulary. The next another type of category is vocabulary, content words and the structural words. Content words and the structural words. See, today I discussed about remedial teaching. Today I discussed about remedial teaching. What is remedial teaching? What is remedial teaching? We should conduct for the backward students, the average backward students. The previous portion we had to teach in a rapid speed. Teach, then next, teaching vocabulary and study and reference skills. In my next class, I would like to teach you about the study and reference skills. Today, I talked about you vocabulary. What is vocabulary? Vocabulary is the stock of words of a language. Vocabulary is the stock of words of a language. It is a collection of words a person knows and uses. It is the words of a language collectively. One of the richest vocabulary is possessed by the English language. What do we mean by knowing a word? Knowing a word could mean the following. It means recalling it whenever necessary. And it means to be able to pronounce, spell, and use it contextually. Knowing what is therefore an active and a dynamic process. See, I taught two types of vocabulary. Vocabulary divided into two types. Vocabulary divided into two types. There are two types of vocabulary. One is active or working vocabulary. Other one is passive or recognition vocabulary. Another, we come to know about the specifications of the active vocabulary. Active vocabulary do have derivatives. That means forms, number of forms are there. When passive vocabulary do not have derivatives. Active vocabulary has prefix and suffix. Passive vocabulary do not have prefix and suffix. These are fixed. These are these are flexible. Active vocabulary is flexible, and passive vocabulary is fixed. Fixed. Okay, then other type of vocabulary categorized as vocabulary that is content words and structural words. Just here, find the mistake here, spelling mistake, con there, but misspelled here. Content words, content words, structural words, content words and structural words. These content words also called functional words. These content words also called full words. This content words also called full words and structural words. And structural words also called as a functional words. Structural words also called as a functional words. Content words we can compare with the flesh and blood of the body, and the skeleton of the body is the structural words. Okay, content words are the content words do have derivatives, while structural words do not have any forms, do not have derivatives. And these are the content words are the verbs, mostly verbs. Okay, and see, structural words are the grammatical items like prepositions, adverbs, auxiliaries, prepositions, prepositional adverbs, and interrogatives, articles, personal pronouns, indefinite pronouns, and etc. Okay. Okay, today I would like to conclude my class and I would like to teach you in my class study and reference skills. Until then, all of you, bye.